Alright guys, we're back at my shop. We got a 2020 Hyundai Elantra. Customer was having drivability issues. I'm not sure. I actually just got back from my other job for another video I'm filming. It's a Chevy Express. Needed an alternator. We're still dealing with that. That turned out to be just how anything else. Sometimes the easiest things end up turning out to be some of the longest jobs, or longer than what it should be. But anyway, this lady was hanging out at my shop waiting for me to get back. She said she had somebody else look at it, and they drove it for a couple minutes and pulled the wires, the harness on the coil pack, and said one of them was bad. So she's got 117,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure from her recollection even, she says that she's never had the spark plugs replaced. So we're going to go ahead, and I've had to scan it up at the house. Unfortunately, for some reason, my Autel, I've been having battery issues with it. I thought maybe since it was being a bit warmer this past week, I could keep it in my car, but I had it going 4 or 5 days ago, I think it was, and it was at 60-something%, and it wouldn't even turn on. So I had to park it close to the house to scan it and whatnot. And it says cylinder 4 is having the misfire. So we're going to go ahead and replace the spark plugs, and we'll see what happens then. We got one coil pack in case we need to do that. So let me get you a little closer. And this should be a pretty straightforward, I said it earlier today on the other video, but this should be a straightforward job. Coil pack, spark plugs. Let me get y'all situated. Alright. I've never had to pull one of these off on these motors. I imagine they're just little grommets on all four corners. So over time, these rubbers might stick to the actual studs. You can pull them off or leave them on there, try to force it on, whatever you feel like. So cylinder 1 is always going to be towards where the timing belt or chain is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our culprit right here according to the computer. But what we'll do is we'll change the spark plugs out, and I guess we'll go ahead. We might just replace the coil pack too. And the reason why I say going ahead and just replacing the coil pack, because the person that she said looked at it unplugged the harness from the coil packs and found that one of them, and she doesn't know, she doesn't recall, one of them he said was the cause. So we'll just go ahead and replace it. In fact, let me get a little magnetic dish. Unfortunately, got a magnetic dish but nowhere to put it. I guess I could stick it up there. I don't really like doing that in case something falls off. I don't like putting magnets near sensors either. Is that a lock? Well, it does have a lock. Don't work on too many of these Hyundais, but these are pretty straightforward locking clips. Get you a small screwdriver, push them out the way. And now you should be able to get the harness off. It's quite a bit of debris. Let me turn the air compressor on and let it build up. We'll blow some of this dirt out the valley here. Alright, the air compressor hasn't really built up, but I think we got enough air to blow off the dirt and debris that we want. Now normally you don't have to keep coils on the specific cylinder. I know I do most of the time, but you don't have to. It's kind of more of a anal type of thing. You don't have to. In this case, it is nice to know that cylinder 4 coil pack, at least from another person's diagnostic, which I know the guy that looked at it he used to run his own shop, but he retired. So I trust his opinion. But let me just say this: trust but verify, which is a very good thing. What's that channel? Royalty. Shoot. I forget the name of them. Royalty something service, I believe. I really like those guys. I believe they're down in Georgia or Florida, and he likes to say that a lot, is trust but verify. And while I know we're not really going through a great diagnosis, I will say that I do trust the guy. This lady has a 2-hour trip. She's waited for me for about 4 hours. So essentially, it's kind of like throwing the parts cannon at it, but at the same time, we have somebody we can trust that looked at it. Right now, I'm just looking to see if oil is going into the spark plug galleys or tubes. They do not appear to be, but I am seeing a little wetness on top of the seals on this, but I do not see any oil in there. So let's go ahead and find out what size we need. We have OEM Denso plugs. Trying to find the part number. In fact, I'm not sure if that's the part number or not. Probably would be this one, maybe. I never worked at Hyundai, so I'm not sure about their... Well, then again, this is Denso. But anyway, let's see what size socket we need. See, I need to get myself a nice spark plug socket. These plug sockets that got these rubber grommets, unless you put some type of adhesive in there, I have always had every single one fall out. I know they make magnetic ones that I'd really like to get, but there's a lot of things I need to get tool wise, but what I like to do in return, let's make sure this goes, okay, that fits in the plug hole. Always make sure your spark plug socket goes in the hole. So what I do is, when I loosen them up, I just take a magnet and go retrieve them. Of course. Alright. We got a light down. Hopefully it's still bright enough. Turn that one up a bit. The spark plug tubes are pretty clean. Sometimes you may have to blow out the tube, not just because of an oil leak, but because there might be debris or dirt in there. Now you can use your own discretion with spark plugs. I know some people, I've seen people, they'll use a pneumatic or electronic ratchet. You can do that if you want. I've never been too keen on it, not even driving them in. Alright, that feels like that is loose. So here is our spark plug, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? What do I see? Let me clean it off. Somebody used dielectric grease. That's nice for the boot to not tear off or get stuck on there. You can see we got some coloring down here, but wow, that's crazy. The rust color in it. Huh. Alright, well, that's one out. And what I found a little shocking, and like I said, this lady hasn't had these serviced yet, and I just want to pull a second one just to confirm. And had I known I was gonna have one light go out and this other one's dying over here, I would have brought another battery in for the DeWalt and put the cell phone light on y'all, even though that thing doesn't really shine outwards too much. Alright, I just want to double check. So, Hyundai Kia, but it's a Champion plug. That is interesting. I did not know Hyundai Kia used Champion plugs. That is interesting. Did not expect that, to be honest. I thought they were going to be Denzos or NGKs. Another tall tale, we'll once when we get all these out, we'll just do a quick assessment of looking at all the plugs. Because I'll be honest, the two I pulled out didn't look bad. Looked like they had life left in them. But I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Champions. I know Jeep and Dodges use them. I've never been a big fan. And spark plugs are one of them things that I don't cheap out on for a customer. Kind of feeling the threads on this, and I mean, I don't want to say it's anti-seize, but it feels like there's almost a film to it. tell you, they're kind of cranked in there. And this is not direct injection, which I understand it's great for fuel economy and whatnot, and probably squeezing out some more power at different power ranges, band ranges or whatever, like a two-stroke, they would say. But I'm not a big fan of them. You gotta clean the intake valves off. Do a little more maintenance than regular port injection. Okay, so we basically have the plugs in, how it's oriented here. And does it say? A lot of times, well, they used to anyway, on the sticker on the hood, they would tell you like the spark plug gap and how much Freon the thing needs and the evap routing system. But it does not say here. But I don't know if y'all can see. Sorry about the lighting. It's starting to, sun's starting to go down. What was it? Black Widow, you say the sun's going down, big guy. The gaps don't look too terrible. The plugs don't look, well, this one actually looks the worst. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they're both iridium, but here's a Denso iridium, and this is a Champion iridium, and yeah, it's probably hard to see, huh? Let me see if maybe I can turn the light on. No, I don't know, the way that the phone's on the holder. But I will say the gap is pretty far on this one. This is the worst one. That was cylinder 1. This is cylinder 4. And gap is a little more noticeable, but I honestly think these spark plugs still have some life in them. I don't know if y'all can see, but this is cylinder 4 that was allegedly the computer was saying is misfiring, which, you know, we went through that. Well, we'll just go ahead and throw new ones in because we got them. And like I said, the lady doesn't have any paperwork or knowledge of having spark plug service done. It's always good to double check your brand new spark plugs. Make sure that the grounding strap isn't bent further down or further away, because you really shouldn't feeler gauge these iridiums. You can mess up the tip. And I'm sure some of y'all wish someone would mess up the tip, but we're not going to do it on these. Alright, so unfortunately, since I don't have like a good magnetic spark plug socket, you got to be careful too. Don't drop them all unless you have to. These spark plug tubes aren't that deep, so I can actually just, you know, let them fall down while I'm holding them up against the wall till they bottom out. I don't necessarily recommend, you know, I mean, since you can feel it bottoming out here, that's fine. But on some, like Hondas and whatnot, the tubes are so long, you can't feel the spark plug hit the bottom, and you got to let them drop a little bit. I'm not recommending you do that, but I will say that I have done it for years, never had a problem. Just be careful, like I said. double check the grounding strap before you put them in, and you know, you don't want to damage the strap when you're dropping it in. Just be delicate with them. And as you saw, they have crush washers on them. While I'm, you know, everything's got a torque spec to it, I like the crush washer ones because you can feel it. I don't mind the concaved ones either, like Chevy does and Ford. See, now we're getting tight. And all you want to do is just crush it. There you go. You can feel it get tight. And then what you want to do is just go about maybe half a turn, 3/4 of a turn, just to crush that washer to lock it in, and you're done. Now in this case, you know, like I said, I've seen people throw spark plugs in with the electric ratchet and whatnot. Just be careful if you're that type of person. I'm sure if you are, this is the type of work you've done. You know what you're doing. See right there, now it's getting tight. So all we want to do is just crush that washer a little bit. Not too much. Definitely don't want to strip it out. I like to start them by hand, a few threads, and then just work them in by hand by a ratchet, and try to keep my extension as straight as possible. That way I'm not putting any type of angle on the force on the wrench that I'm using or the ratchet. Right there. Yet again, same position. That's where it gets tight. I'll double check the spark plug box. I think at one time, or maybe certain manufacturers, they used to tell you how to tighten these things. I think even some oil filter companies used to tell you on the box, like get it hand tight, then do a 1/4 turn, and that's it. All right, that is that. Putting some tools away. Let's get the coil pack. Always double check your parts. Of course, the boot is not going to look the same because this is a CarQuest. In fact, here's a CarQuest part number. If you decide you need one, and Advance has CarQuest. I don't know if anybody else does, but there's a part number. And you always want to just double check because you never know what these aftermarket companies will do. Like this locking clip right here, how frail this aftermarket CarQuest one is versus this meaty OEM one. And you always, if it's got electrical connectors, you want to make sure it's got the same amount of pins. We got 4 pins, and then there's some type of guide over here on the left. I don't know if y'all be able to see it. There's a little foot, a little guide over here, so I think we're good with that. It's interesting. Is that dielectric grease? Oh, it is. It's the first time I'm seeing this. So I guess that's how they put dielectric grease. Sometimes they come with it. Never seen green, and never seen it lined up like that before from the manufacturer, the aftermarket company, but there you go. And it sits in nice. The boot is covering the lip on the valve cover. And we'll go ahead and start throwing all the coil packs back on. Good Lord, can I find the hole? I know, guys. Had we not have all this against us, being that it's getting late, this lady's got like a 2-hour drive to where she lives, and me having to work I was working somewhere else and whatnot, I'd be a little more thorough with the diagnostic, but be careful, especially with these plastic valve covers. They got like a brass threaded nut inside there that these coil packs screw into. And I've had it happen to me before on a Ford. It was Transit, same motor that's like in the Focuses and all that stuff. And it reamed out, and I couldn't get the plug out. Luckily, I was able to just kind of break the ear off of it. That way I could get the coil pack off to replace it, but then I didn't have a way to push it back down or hold it down. So just be careful. I don't know if you heard, I've been working with these electric tools that I got for quite a few years now. And you just go light on it. Don't go balls to the wall. Alright, let's plug up our coil packs. Make sure our aftermarket one clicks in and it's tight, and it is. And my God, is that... Y'all notice that? How you could hear the click on the originals? Okay, I heard it click that time. But for some reason, however this thing is made, it will not let you put the locking clip down. But it is clipped on there, so it'll be fine. A lot of times over the years, these locking clips will break anyway, as long as the actual clip part that holds it to whatever the harness clip is will hold it. It'll be fine. It's just always nice reassurance to having them locking clips go down, because if you do have them go in correctly, then you know that it's locked in right. Alright, got quite a few batteries to charge tonight. I'm going to take y'all off the stand. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing. We'll have to drive back up to the house, get the computer. Oh, here's our customer. Say hi to the camera. Oh, okay, I see. I see how it is. I forget what she said his name is. He's an old fella, from what she says. I didn't really notice it, I really didn't notice the car having any type of stumbling or misfiring. But all I did was just pull it into the shop. I know, buddy. What's out there? Alright. I'll go get the scanner and we will clear these codes and see if there's a misfire. Well, guys, I went in, I cleared the code out with my scanner, and I was trying to see if there was any type of, maybe something in the live data the computer can check for misfires, but I didn't see anything. I saw one thing for like catalyst efficiency misfire or something for damage, but I didn't see anything for straight misfire. So what we're gonna do, since we cleared the code, check engine light is off, we're gonna take it for a ride just to see. She said the check engine light, I went and talked to her before I left. She said the check engine light came on today and it was vibrating, and I guess she's had the problem before, kinda. I guess that's kind of the way I was interpreting it. She said sometimes the check engine light would come on when it started, but that was it till today. So we're gonna take it for a little test drive. I think I remembered it. Our boy's name is Scooter down here. I know it's probably the safest spot for you, bud. And this lady too, I've ridden with her before because she was having some issues with something. I think it was over the summer last year, 2025. And she is one of those types that are heavy. She's heavy-footed, heavy on the gas, heavy on the brakes. So I'm sure she can definitely tell when something's afoot, especially if she likes to just get down on it. So far, I mean, we're almost at 60. Not feeling any misfires, but a good little spot. When we come back, there's a hill, and that's where I like to test our that's where I like to test misfires, because it's a pretty decent hill and you can put a load on the engine. We're going to turn around up here in a second. This is usually my little testing route. Come down here to the church. We'll turn around here. I have another route, especially when I bed in brakes, but that's definitely a longer route. Basically make a big old circle. If I'm right, from my shop to here is right about 2 miles, so you get a little bit of driving time, especially if it's something that should be quick, like if you're having a misfire. Give it some gas, get the CVT. What was that? Some type of lane departure thing, I don't know. So far it feels good though. Check engine light hasn't come on. Feels good. No stumbling. Coming up on the hill here in about 10 seconds. Our boy Scoot. I don't know if he just doesn't like somebody else driving him around, or if that's just his normal spot when the wheels are rolling. But he seems pretty comfortable. If I ever have a dog in the front seat, that's usually what I like them to do, either be in the floorboard. Here's our hill. Yeah, I didn't feel no stumbling. I let off the gas just enough to kind of putter up the hill. And that's a little test I like to do with that hill to see if somebody still has a misfire and whatnot. Especially since I can't find nothing on my scanner. Which, again, I need to update it, but my God. I mean, I guess it's not too bad, but then again, I don't know how it is with Altel. It's like 300 and I think it's almost $400, I think, for a year, but I don't know if that's updating everything or just one manufacturer. If somebody knows that answer, comment below, as they say, because I sure don't know. Well, this is a CVT, but I've actually had a job before where this lady's transmission was going bad and it was mimicking a misfire. That one threw me for a loop for a little while. Alright guys, we're back from the test drive. Pulled up in the shop to grab a few things. Then I'm going to go talk to the lady and shut this place down for the night, get something to eat. I haven't ate all day. It's past 5 o'clock. So, car's fixed, it's fine, no stumbling, no misfiring, check engine light is off, and that's a done deal. Now, had I had a little more time, she probably could have gotten by with just a coil pack, but the spark plugs, given that the thing has almost 120,000 miles, and it's never had service, and it was time to just go ahead and do it anyway, and we had saw that spark plug 1, actually, the ground strap was actually getting eroded away, and the gap was actually bigger than the rest of them on cylinder 1. But thanks for watching, and I'm going to be working on some of the other videos, and that's it. Not too bad of a job, pretty easy, pretty simple, and hopefully we can get that van done tomorrow with the serpentine belt. I figured all that out, and I'll clarify that in another video and try to figure out a way how to make these videos all in one type of deal. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.